Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I'm going to be walking you guys through my go-to event and date night glam. For me, that pretty much always consists of like glowy, effortless complexion, even though it was not effortless at all. A nice nude lip, and of course, a purple smoky eye, which at this point has kind of become my staple. So if that's something you're into, make sure to keep on watching, and please don't forget to hit that notification bell and subscribe, because I do upload 3 times a week, and that'll be the best way to stay up to date on all the fun stuff I'm posting. So if you want to see how we got this look right here and all of my go-to products for long wearing date night or event makeup, keep on watching. Oh shit, I just did all that on camera. What a waste. Okay, so I did already prime my eyes off camera. Technically on camera because for some reason I decided to record that, but you don't need to look at that. For today, I'm going to be using my Natasha Denona Lila palette. I know it's a pricey palette, but I spent $140 on this about a year and a half ago, so you know I'm going to get my best use out of it. So whenever I do like a date night, evening night out, event, glam, any of the sort, I always like to go for purples just because I do find that that is a color that really flatters my skin tone. Please ignore the hair, I just caught it in the monitor. I'm letting it air dry for once, so I don't know what it's doing, but we're going to just let it do what it's doing. So I'm going to start by taking this top shade up here. It is Per Se, and I'm going to pack that on the outer portion of the eye and then buff it up towards the crease. See how easy and how quick that went on? The reason that this is my go-to palette for any event, first off, I know how it performs and I know how it wears. And there are very few shadows on the market that I find as like instantly buttery and super easy to blend to the point where I would almost challenge you to try and make these shadows look bad because they basically blend themselves. Like you see, I'm applying them and I'm moving my brush a little bit, and honestly, all the work is basically done by the shadow. Like I've got nice definition, it blends beautifully. It looks like I took the time to put down a transition shade, which with this palette, I really don't have to. Going into a different, fluffier brush, I'm going to go into Nude Vino up here, which is like a plum matte, and I'm going to take a little bit of that just to blend out the edge. I do, and you guys know this, when I go super cool toned, like purples and silvers, I like to have a little bit of warmth in the crease. So by blending that gray out with a little bit of that like nudie, well, Nude Vino, it's like a burnt brown. You get a little bit more warmth, which just makes the whole eye look a little bit nicer. And again, do you see how easy this is blending? Like it looks so good already, and we just started. So I'm gonna go a little more neutral today. I normally like this shade down here, which is a very like silvery purple, is my go-to. But for today, I'm going to go into Helio, which is down here. It's more of like a really pretty, on the eye it goes almost like rose-toned. And then I'm going to blend that into Amethyst, the vibrant purple in the center. I am going to spray that down with a touch of setting spray, just to make it super vibrant. And then with these shadows, I do like to layer them. So I will take it dry over the wet base that I just put down. And you see how that just makes it so much more foiled? Next, I'm going to go back into Per Se, that first shade, and just pull that over the outer portion of the eye. And that's going to give us a little bit of a base before we pull the purple in. On that same packing brush, I'm going to take Amethyst, the purple, and I'm just going to lightly press a little bit of that on the very center of the lid where the 2 shades we already have down meet, just because that's going to give you a little bit of that like smoky gradient from light to purple to dark. And now that we're just about done with what is the easiest purple smoky eye ever, I'm going to go throw on some mascara and lashes, and there's no fallout that has to get cleaned up. Like everything looks, I totally just wiped a finger swatch on my face. Now I am going to go clean up my face, and I'll be right back. Alright, and now that we have the base of the easiest purple smoky eye ever, I'm going to go throw on some mascara and lashes, and I'll be right back. Alright, so I threw on some mascara, I did a little bit of liner on top just to define the eyes, and some black liner in the waterline. Normally, you guys know I go in with like massive lashes. I went in with the Cocoa lashes in the style Madame Wispy, which are some of my favorites because they are a little softer. They're definitely flared, but you can still see eyeshadow underneath. It just helps to complement without like taking over the look. For the lower lash line, I'm going to dip into Amethyst, that purple shade. And I'm just going to gently run that from the outer corner to the inner corner of the lower lash line to give us this purple shape. Then dipping into Nude Vino up here one last time, I'm just going to blend that out and connect it to the outer corner. And now it is rounded, it is smoky, and there's a little bit of purple on the lower lash line, which you guys know I am all about. Grabbing a detail brush, I'm going to take this shade Juno down here, and I'm going to highlight the inner corner. And with the eyes done, that's literally like half the time it takes for everything else. The face takes next to no time after that. Starting off the face, I'm going to grab my Oil and Pore Control Mattifier from Murad. This stuff is beautiful for controlling oils, especially for someone like me who gets super greasy. I want to be radiant, but only where I put highlight. I don't want to be like glowy in a way that makes me look greasy or shiny. Then you guys already saw my top current foundation, so you guys know I'm still working out of some sample containers before I purchase the full size. But I'm using my current Obsession foundation. This is the Urban Decay Stay Naked 24/7. It's got a really long name, but you guys know which one I'm talking about. It is new from Urban Decay. I am in the shade 30 CP, and I am in love with the finish of this. And obviously, again, you guys saw that video. I have really diligently done wear tests on this, and this might be my new favorite. I mean, I still love my Dior Forever, but that was discontinued. So I am in the market to find a nice replacement. And I think I might have found it. Like you guys can see, the coverage is beautiful. It does oxidize a little bit, which is why it looks a little bit light right now. But I do like to apply it with a brush, then grabbing a clean sponge. Just kind of pat everything out. Pick up any product we didn't need, spread it out a little bit more, and make sure everything looks perfect. My go-to event concealer, I mean really anytime I have an important date night anything, Jeffree Star Magic Star Concealer. I did go super smoky with the under eye, as you guys saw, so I'm not going quite as high with the concealer. I'm still taking it down everywhere that I normally take it, and in the same shape, but I want to keep a little bit of that grunginess on the lower lash, because that's kind of, you know, how I like my foundation and concealer to, that's how I like my under eye eyeshadow to go. So I'm just going to blend out the concealer and then very quickly set it down with a setting powder. Now, I naturally have very creasy under eyes, so I do like to make sure that I don't take my powder up. Not my powder. I don't take my concealer up too high because then it will just crease down. So I'm going to set that in place with the Magic Star setting powder in the shade Rose. And I'm actually going to take that anywhere I put the concealer. At this point, on that blending brush with no additional product, I'm just going to re-blend the under eye to make sure that, first off, there's no powder sitting under there, but second off, that it is still a little bit on the grungy side, and take that over some of that concealer. For contour and bronzer, there's a lot of products I really like, but if I'm going to talk like holy grail staples for events, it's going to be the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette. Like, I never hit pan on anything, and these powders have clearly seen better days. I am using some brushes that are coming in an upcoming first impressions video that I just filmed. I believe this one's going up first. I don't know, my filming schedule is not right in front of me, so I think that you guys are going to see this first, but these are the Violet Voss brushes that I got in PR a couple weeks ago, and I finally tested them out the other day. I didn't love every single brush, but the ones I love I have been unable to put down. They are the eyeshadow brushes I used today, and they will be some of the complexion brushes I'm using. And grabbing the lightest peach color, I'm just going to brighten up the under eye. I'm going to then grab my Too Faced Milk Chocolate Soleil bronzer and just connect the eyeshadow down to the contour of the nose. And then grabbing the Shady Biz Sunstalker bronzer from Fenty Beauty, I'm just going to add a little extra warmth on the perimeters of the face. And now that the face is starting to get that sculpted look that you guys know I love, I'm going to grab my blushes. Right now I've been obsessed with the Alamar blush trio. This is the medium tan. On a day where I go super purpley on the eyes, I like to take these two shades right here, Isla and Seclusion, and kind of mix them together because I don't like being super matchy-matchy. So because we are so purple on the lids, I like to be a little bit more like coral on the cheeks. That way everything just looks healthy. It matches, it coordinates, it looks good, but it doesn't look super monochromatic. At this point, I'm going to grab a little setting spray just to take down any powderiness before we go into highlight. When I go for such a cool look, I do like to start with like a base of a cool tone highlighter. So I'm going to take the Fenty Beauty Sandcastle highlighter. It is this side. And I'm going to take that on the Fenty Beauty Shark Tooth highlighter brush. And I'm actually going to pull that down the brow and then onto the cheekbone. And I know that looks intense on the brow bone, but this is like the one time where I do like a really intense highlight. And I like it to go, well, not an intense highlight, an intense brow bone highlight. But I do like it to curve all the way around this part of the eye. And when I do my brows, it will go a little bit less intense because I will be combing through them. And then just to amp the cheeks up a tiny bit more, I'm going to take the Artist Couture Diamond Glow powder in Cocoa Bling, and I'm going to add a little bit just to the cheekbones. And I know this looks like a lot, but getting things to look good for a long term, like during an event, is layering. So I'm going to go back into my blushes, and I'm going to blend that over the highlight. And what that's going to do is that's going to tone the highlight down a little bit. And it's also going to kind of give you this luminosity to the cheeks so that you have this blush top into glow highlight moment that, yes, it's a little intense, but that is what I love for events. And now, if you decided you went overboard, which of course I always do a little bit, you can always go into a setting powder or a face powder. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Finishing Powder. And I'm just going to dust that over the blush. And what that's going to do is it's just going to tone it down ever so slightly so that it just becomes a little bit more infused into my skin. You know, so that when it catches the light, it's a little less intense, but you still get all of that color. But rather than it looking like it's on top of the skin, it actually looks like it's flowing through the skin. Then I'm going to throw on a quick brow. This is just my Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz in the shade Medium Brown. And all I'm doing with this is lightly defining the shape of the brow, just to make sure they're even, because I know that this one tends to be a little thinner than this one. So I just kind of line this one and lightly overline this one. And then I'll comb through it. And that's what I was saying was going to tone down the highlighter, because it is going to kind of diffuse some of that pigment. Then with my Milk Brow Gel, I'm just going to set that down, and it is going to darken the brows up a tiny bit. Then with a blending brush, we're just going to blend out that highlight a little bit just to soften it a tad. And because we've powdered so much, I do want to bring a little life back to the skin. This is the Murad Hydration Prebiotic Multi-Mist. And then once that spray is on, I'm just going to take a sponge and just gently pat over the entire face. This is kind of going to press everything in to help it become one layer with the skin, and it's also going to help it to last all night long. And at this point, all we're missing is lip. I'm going to be completely honest. When I go out, I do tend to stick to either a light gloss or a cream lipstick just because it's the easiest thing to touch up. So I am going to grab a nude lipstick. First, I'm going to take the Makeup Forever Artist Pro Pencil in the shade Wherever Walnut, and I'm going to line the lips. And I do overline my lips ever so slightly, but I do like to take it true to my natural Cupid's bow. And then jumping into the Bobbi Brown Semi-Naked Luxe Matte Lip Color. I like this one because it is a matte finish, so it is a little more long-wearing than your typical matte lipstick. And those colors together just give you like the perfect pouty ombre. And that will be long-wearing enough to last pretty much all night, so I just top that off with a nice gloss. This is the Dior Lip Maximizer, and that is my favorite event gloss because you can layer this up again and again and again, and it never gets goopy or gross. And you see how adding that gloss just kind of pulls both of those colors together and blends them beautifully. And that is the finished look. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. This has been my go-to date night or event look. It's always going to be a nice, juicy nude lip with a purple smoky eye. So thanks again, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.